Hi everybody, how's everybody doing today? Today I came back to you for another audio recording of the show Sanjivani. I know it's been a minute since I have updated you guys about the show, but I'm back and I felt like we need to talk about the last episode because it is actually and finally the last episode of the show Sanjivani, and we are going to miss it. I mean, come on, you guys, we are really going to miss the show. This is the show that we have lived with for, maybe like 4 months. This is the first season, I do believe. I think there will be another season. And the way that the show has ended, the last episode, they alluded and they were giving us a foreshadowing that there will be another season, perhaps. So I'm not sure, and I have not done my research to really find out if there is going to be another season, but probably, and I hope so, because we will miss Ishaani and the hospital of the Sanjivani hospital of the Cradle of Life, and we will miss all of those characters. We will not miss Siddhant because I really don't like how the show ended, to be quite honest. I mean, the show, and let's go into it. We start off talking about the show started in the beginning. It was a very good start of the show. Later, we see that the show started, the first episodes of the show. Ishaani is a newbie. She is a freshly graduate doctor. She wants to become a doctor and she wants to be fabulous at her job. It's a good show. Then the episode started being and for me it's honestly very hard for me not to be able to talk about this show without making a comparison and contrast between the Sanjivani show and the Ishqibaz show where Surbhi and Nakul Mehta are acting in it. It's very hard for me to disassociate those two shows because Ishaani is the same actress, and for me it's kind of difficult to not compare those two shows with each other. The show of the Ishqbaz and the show of Sanjivani. Because of Surbhi Chandna, she is the main and leading female in the show, so it's very hard for me not to make a compare and contrast between both of the shows. Okay, so Sanjivani, it was a good show. Overall, it was a good show. It was slow. The episodes, each episode, it did not have enough material in it. Each episode, it wasn't rich. The episodes were not rich episodes. The show of the Ishqbaz show, the episodes, they were more rich. Even though Ishqbaz, towards the end of the show, the episodes were getting really poor when it was they took off Surbhi Chandna from the show, that she was not acting on the show anymore. So Sanjivani, they need to be richer in episodes. The final episode of the show, I didn't like it, to be quite honest. I mean, this is a secret between me and you. I did not like the last episode of the show Sanjivani because honestly, I did like the reveals, the revelations that we got at the last episode when we learned that the uncle and the aunt of Ishaani were actually conspiring and trying to murder Siddhant, and therefore this is why Siddhant, he was in a coma for 3 years. As the audience, we did really believe that Siddhant left Ishaani and went to the States to study medicine and to continue studying medicine and to continue maximize and his profession as a doctor. We did really think that, because they made us think in the show as the audience that Siddhant left to go to the States and he left Ishaani, he abandoned her. But he did not really abandon her. What happened is the aunt and the uncle of Ishaani, they hired, a bunch of thugs to kill him. And that's what really happened, so they beat him up and he goes into a coma. He was really beaten up really hard, really badly, and he goes into a coma, and he goes into a coma for 3 years, and we don't know that this what was actually taking place. We thought that he left Ishaani, and Ishaani, she was abandoned. Nonetheless, just because we learned at the last episode that the uncle and the aunt of Ishaani were doing all of this bullshit and mess, trying to kill Siddhant to not make him go to the wedding and actually be Ishaani's husband and get married, because they did not approve of him as her husband because he comes from a poor background. The aunt and uncle of Ishaani wanted a rich husband for Ishaani, and which is so crazy because that's not even your business. Like, why are you so up in Ishaani's life like that? She's an adult, and if she marries anyone, it's her life, and just let her be. Just let Ishaani be Ishaani. Okay, so we learned that at the end that this is what actually was taking place. So that was a really good climax, a good piece of information that we loved as the audience. But what we didn't love as the audience is the fact that at the end of the show, what happens is Ishaani she's looking at her husband Nevertan Singh, and she is telling him, I do love you, and it's like because all of this new information has surfaced up to the surface, so Ishaani feels like that Siddhant is not to be blamed for all of what happened, and it's like she still loves him. She still loves Siddhant, and she still cares about him, and he cares about her too. And she feels like, like she needs to be with him, kind of. But she also feels like she also needs to be with Nevertan Singh, her husband. I didn't like that Nevertan Singh told her that she can go and get married to Siddhant, and that Siddhant was always hers, and was the destiny, and this is how the things should work out, and that Siddhant was always the man of her, in her life. And so I didn't like that. I really felt that just because after 3 years, we discovered that it wasn't Siddhant's fault, and he did not leave Ishaani, and he was actually about to be murdered by the uncle and aunt of Ishaani at the hand of a bunch of thugs. Just because we learned this at the end of the show, it doesn't mean that Ishaani needs to alter her life for him. It doesn't mean that Ishaani needs to break up with her husband Nevertan Singh, the one who she was with for 3 years, and just go to Siddhant's arms and tell him, yes, we can continue from where we have finished. It doesn't work like that, really, in relationships. It doesn't work like that in relationships. Just because someone came back to you, you are just simply and totally going to be like, oh yes, I was waiting for you, and I'm just going to jump in your lap like a puppy. No, it doesn't work like that. So I didn't like the ending and how it happened. I really wanted to see a different reality, a different version of the show. I really wanted to see Ishaani stay with Nevertan Singh because I felt like he was suitable for her. I felt and I did really like his character. He's a righteous man. He is a good Indian man. He is faithful, honest, strong, charismatic, successful, and caring. And he cared about Ishani, and I felt that Ishani needed to stay with him. But this is how the directors and the producers of the show wanted the show to work out, and I don't agree with them. And I don't like the ending. So, you know, all and all in all, the show was a good show. I enjoyed watching it. It was a little bit slow at sometimes. I felt like the episodes needed to be richer and to have more material in them. But other than that, I'm like, it's a good show. I do love the acting of Surbhi Chandna. I think she is an amazing actress. And show after show, she is growing and she is becoming a more skilled actress. And I remember her from watching the show Ishkbaz, and she was a really good actress at that time. But I did find her to be more expressive, and I find her to be a better actress in Sanjivani, more expressive, more elaborate. She was good. She was good. Also, there's another show for Surbhi Chandna, which is Najin 5, and that's a remake, I believe, from another show or something. I'm not really sure, but I'm also looking forward to watching that. And it's been good. I mean, I honestly did watch this show because of Surbhi Chandna acting in it. Sanjivani was a good show. From on a scale from 1 to 10, I give it a strong 7. I give it a strong 7. I can't really give it more than that, but it's a good show. I did enjoy it. And we will see what's going to happen. Maybe they are having, maybe they have a second season of Sanjivani. So if that happens, I will be definitely watching that, and I'll be definitely tuning in. And until then, thank you for listening to my podcast and my audio recording. I do appreciate you guys for supporting me and sometimes subscribing. It means a lot, and I'm thankful for that. And take care until next time. See you. Be safe. Have fun and take care. I love you, and